I am sorry. Are you okay?
Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, 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 every day I'm hustling.
He is the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska.
He's good at what he do.
Defender.
Hey, Daddy.
Undefeated WBO lightweight champion of the world.
Hey, Daddy.
BoxingVoice.com.
Taking, any credit away from Errol, he's a great fighter. He's good at what he do. But when you compare him to Terrence Crawford, there's no comparison.
It's a dollar beat.
I'm just a better fighter.
BoxingVoice.com.
Sit back and watch this. I promise you something. I promise you something. All that shit you talking don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing.
I can bump my guns at you, and you can bump your guns at me, but at the end of the day, them two brothers got to get in the ring.
Hey, Daddy, it's a dollar beat.
We've been here before. You try to get there. Alright? I can tell you how it is to be undisputed. You can't tell me shit.
This a dollar. Hey, Daddy.
Y'all support y'all fighter. Let's come together, make this event a success.
BoxingVoice.com.
Everything about Terrence Crawford is better than Errol Spence Jr.
BoxingVoice.com. BoxingVoice.com.
Boxing fans, are you ready?
Hey, Daddy.
BoxingVoice.com. BoxingVoice.com. BoxingVoice.com.
Canelo, are you ready? ¿Está preparado? I was born ready.
Considered by many to be, pound for pound, the best fighter in the world today. 4-division, 5-time world champion.
Oh, look at this guy.
He is now boxing's first ever undisputed super middleweight champion of the world.
Damas y caballeros de Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
You know my level. And you will see. Because I'm gonna fuck out everybody.
I would love to fight Canelo. I would love to show the world that I'm the best.
I want to get Canelo out here to Houston.
Oh, Canelo, where your cojones at? Let's get it.
Payday. You want payday. I know that. Man, you fight with nobody.
TheBoxingVoice.com.
Listos, pelos, chingazos.
He smacked the shit out of Canelo in
Get
person.
the fuck out of here, man. Please. I'm gonna knock out this guy. Mira, en este momento puedo hacer lo que yo quiera, ¿no?
Saul Canelo Alvarez.
SDS Promotions.
That's funny? You think that's funny?
A little bit.
What up? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our second edition of the Boxing Voice Radio, your second show every day, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern, where we get back together and we talk a little bit of boxing. Today, it seems like we got a topic we might have overlooked. We might have not truly heard the audio coming from Turki Alalshikh that essentially tells us what we all want and what we wanted to hear. Is the $200 million for David Benavidez a lot of money? Yes. Is the $150 a lot of money for Canelo versus Crawford? Yup. But based off these quotes and audio, maybe it's not that much money. Maybe it's not that big a deal. Because according to Turki Alalshikh, and I quote, no one is going to pay you that amount of money. It must be realistic. There is nothing impossible. We'll see what happens in the future, but if anyone can do it, it's Riyadh season. Now, these quotes may be a little out of context, right? There are questions in between here where Charlie Parsons is speaking to Turki Alalshikh, but what we didn't notice is that Turki Alalshikh is being very clear. The only ones that can get these 2 fights done are his company. But let's play that audio.
Would you still like to do the Terence Crawford fight with Canelo at 168 pounds?
What I am dream?
Yeah.
I like to see it against Crawford. I like to see it against Benavidez.
Yeah, see, this is... I have wanted to see the Benavidez fight for a long, long time. Now, Canelo says that, obviously, we know that they're both Mexican. A loss for Canelo would obviously be damaging for his legacy, right? We're hearing the figure that he is giving is about 200 million. Obviously, that seems far too much. We understand the figures in boxing. Does he have to be realistic as well?
Of course, no one pay this kind of money.
No.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to break that down, right? Let's pull up the quote real quick. And as you can see, you know, Charlie is obviously having a conversation with Turki Alalshikh. So there's interjections in this audio. Going to the screen share here, you can see that certain things are said, and that's what's important. As you can see, he says, no one is going to pay you that amount of money. It must be realistic. That should be in brackets, not parentheses, because that's an editor's quote, or at least that is the interviewer saying it must be realistic. Then Alalshikh comes back and says, there is nothing impossible. We'll see what happens in the future, but if anyone can do it, it's Riyadh season. Obviously, that is the company which he represents and works for, so if anyone can do it, it would be his company. Let's get back to the audio.
Realistic as well.
Of course, no one pay this kind of money.
No.
Yeah.
Do you have hope that we ever see that fight as boxing fans? That's the one we want the most.
There is nothing impossible.
Okay.
Let's see in the future what happens. But if someone can do it, it is Riyadh season.
Yeah.
So if anyone can do it, it is Riyadh season, right? So he believes, while the number is a little crazy, you know, if push came to shove, only Riyadh season can do it. And we all know that the number isn't crazy. You know, going off the going rate, going off what some of these other fighters have been getting paid, not named Canelo Alvarez from His Excellency himself. So if you're going to give Ngannou a bunch of $1 million, which we won't put a number on it just in case these reported figures are wrong. What we do know is that Ngannou made a lot of money. More money than most heavyweights, and for sure, more money than he's ever made in his entire UFC career. So a guy like Canelo, who's been putting it down since 15, he hears that, and there's no way he wants to be in the same tax bracket, because guess what? They're not the same. Y'all not like us, right? So Alalshikh knows that, and he's got to pay like he weighs. It's just the bottom line. And the fact that he's already realized that at least brings us a step closer. Now, I'm not saying fork over $200 million and $150 million to get these fights done, but I'm sure we can get close to those numbers to get these fights done. And these are the biggest fights in boxing, specifically David versus Canelo. If anyone should get the opportunity first, it should be Canelo. But I feel like if we're going to pay Canelo all this money, we should get 2 fights. And ideally, the Crawford fight would be first so that Canelo has more of an opportunity of beating Crawford and going into the next fight versus David, where backwards it probably won't work out that way, right? Many believe David could be the winner in that Canelo Alvarez fight. Hence, if they fight first, there is no Canelo Crawford. That's up to the fight fans to decide. And obviously, Alalshikh, if he wants to believe in Crawford, think Crawford can get it done, he's got to put Crawford first and hopes that he defeats David, which means, no more David Canelo fight. But Two-Tone, the superstar, what's going on, champ?
What's popping?
Chilling, man. Just reviewing this audio and realizing we might have missed a key word or two. Alalshikh made it clear that if anybody can pay these amounts to Canelo Alvarez, it's obviously Riyadh Season, the company which he works for. And he said that nothing is impossible. Rather than staying on his original stance that the number was absurd and way too much and that Canelo needs to stay realistic, now the tune has changed. Nothing's impossible. And if anybody can do it, it's Riyadh Season. And believe me, there's a lot of American fans that would be very happy and pleased with Saudi Arabia and His Excellency if they can get us the David Benavidez Canelo fight. But as I was telling the audience, if you're Turkey, what do? Do you give the fight fans David first and potentially never get the Canelo Crawford fight because many believe David will beat Canelo? Or do you give Crawford the Canelo fight first and hopes that Canelo can actually beat Crawford, but then you never get the David fight? Either or, rock and a hard place. Who gets the fight first? I feel like David deserves it. Obviously Crawford gets to jump the line according to his fans because of all his accomplishments, but David's been the one waiting there. Now, we're going to get a lot of comparisons and a lot of people spewing hate in all directions, and they'll say David lost his belt. He lost his chance. It's his fault. Crawford's been doing what he needs to do. He's been seeking a big fight. This is his big fight. I don't know who's in the right, who's in the wrong. All I do know is that Alalshikh could put an end to this by simply granting one of the two the fight versus Canelo Alvarez, which obviously we know now Canelo's open to sitting down with Alalshikh after the Berlanga fight, and it sounds based off this interview that, Alalshikh is willing to sit down with Canelo, but he felt, not in this interview, but there's other quotes, he felt like he wasn't 100% sure if the message he received was from Canelo in a previous interview. But, I don't think Canelo or people are just going to be contacting Turki Alalshikh on behalf of Canelo without the consent of Canelito Alvarez and Eddie Reynoso. But yeah, man, what did you think of this? Should I play the audio again for you so you know exactly what's being said?
Yes, let me hear the audio.
Would you still like to do the Terence Crawford fight with Canelo at 168 pounds?
What I am dream?
Yeah.
I like to see it against Crawford. I like to see it against Benavidez.
Yeah, see, this is... I have wanted to see the Benavidez fight for a long, long time. Now, Canelo says that, obviously, we know that they're both Mexican. A loss for Canelo would obviously be damaging for his legacy, right? We're hearing the figure that he is giving is about 200 million. Obviously, that seems far too much. We understand the figures in boxing. Does he have to be realistic as well?
Of course, no one pay this kind of money.
No.
Yeah.
Do you have hope that we ever see that fight as boxing fans? That's the one we want the most.
There is nothing impossible.
Okay.
Let's see in the future what happens. But if someone can do it, it is Riyadh Season.
Yeah.
Does that give you confidence? His words, the way that he makes it seem that if someone can do it, it's certainly his company. Does that mean he's willing to do it, or is that just saying, hey, we're the only ones rich enough, don't mean we're gonna do it?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means to me. They say we got the bag, but ultimately Turki Alalshikh, at some point he wants to turn a profit. And the only way to turn a profit in this situation is going to be with Terence Bud Crawford. With that fight, you have arguably Terrence Bud Crawford's legacy of being one of the greatest fighters of all time. If he can win that fight, casuals know Terrence Bud Crawford. Obviously, they know Canelo. That's the fight to make right now. With David, you're not going to make enough money on the pay-per-views to cover $200 million. It's not going to do 2.5 million pay-per-view buys. David Benavidez is just not that popular. That's a guaranteed financial L. With Terrence Bud Crawford, you definitely going to turn a profit.
I got Keenan Lofton. $2 super chat. He says, Canelo versus GGG4. Let's get it. Laughing out loud emoji. Money bag emoji. Yeah, not interested. We'll pass on that, but certainly would prefer either Crawford or Benavidez. Phone lines are open for anybody who wants to voice their opinion. This is the subject. Turki Alalshikh has made it clear that if anyone can pay these two men the amount of money needed to step in the ring with Canelo Alvarez, it will be Riyadh season. That being said, the clock is ticking. Is he actually going to do it? And will we get this fight? Once again, Discord is available if you want to call in, and so is Twitter Spaces. Rez, what it do?
Hey, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with Tutu, and I feel like that was just a statement saying we can pay it, but doesn't mean we are gonna pay it. Yeah, I don't believe Turki can make a profit from either of those fights unless he do like a bundle, like 200 million for Crawford and David Benavidez. I feel like that would be a little bit more realistic, a 2-fight deal for $200 million rather than just $200 million for one fight. What do you think about that, Ness?
I mean, listen, I'll take it any way he gives it to us. You know, $200 million 2-fight deal is still $100 million each. There's still a come up. You know, you ain't going to get that nowhere else. I would jump on it. You know what I mean? But again, I'm not Canelo. I don't have his negotiation power. But $200 million, 2 fights, that sounds amazing to me.
Yeah, literally. Shit. Especially if you say Crawford's too small. You know, the only real challenge I see him is for David Benavidez. But yeah, like I said, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that was just saying that to like a subtle way, saying to Canelo, like, ain't no one gonna pay you that fucking money. My bad for cursing, but unless it's us. But even interview, Turki Alalshikh will say he has to be more realistic. You know, so that's why I feel like he ain't really gonna pay the 200 million. He said we got it, but we ain't gonna pay. You gotta be more realistic. But yeah, Ness, I'm about to finish my work. I just want to give my first take on it. Shout out to you. Shout out to Tutu. I'll be listening to the rest of the show.
All right, champ. Appreciate you. It's the instigator, Kevin. What up? Instigator on Discord. Yo, so I was going to go with the Shakur topic. What you would have thought? You think we would have got a lot of callers? Because he said, you know, first day of camp. So I was going, you know, like, miracle round. Who's it going to be? Tank Zepeda or Cordina?
Oh, yeah. We would have got callers. He in camp for Cordina. This is a Cordina camp. Somebody was saying that he was crying that he can't find no opponent and it's not his fault. I mean, a lot of people, he is the bookie, man. I mean, Zepeda ducked him multiple times. Pitbull ducked him multiple times. I just don't understand why he just don't go fight.
Times.
Shout out Cliff. What up?
Yo, I'm glad you did this topic because the Shakur topic would have just pissed me off the way, like, I keep acting with that man. But anyways, I'm saying we can get that one whenever you're ready, though. Yo, your monologue, whatever you call it, your intro, you touched everything. You handled it right. This the TBB that I fuck with. Yo, you kept it 100. You gave every angle. You said everything that all the callers are gonna say. You wasn't biased. You wasn't out here stirring shit up just to stir shit up. I appreciate it. But what the callers is gonna call in and say that I don't want to fucking hear. Excuse me. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear people calling talking about Sheik's profits like the first caller. Who cares what he makes? You're not making no money off. Us as fans, we not getting no money. We just want to see the fight. Who cares if he's not gonna turn a profit? If he is, if he ain't, if he whatever he's doing it for. We not that guy who Ness did the long interview with. Like it don't matter if Sheik is what Sheik's doing. If he's giving us what we want, just take it why it's here. As long as it lasts, let's enjoy this. It's like stimulus, the stimulus checks in 2020. Get your stimmy, man. Get your $600 a week and stack up. Like why Turk is here. So I think he will do it. I think I think that's why Turk is here. I think he will do it. Eventually, he's gonna cave in. And I was one of the people to say it when Canelo first asked for the 200, and people said it was outrageous, and then they waffled and said, "All right, we could give it to him." Now it's outrageous again. I from the beginning felt like it's possible because we've seen similar numbers in the past and way in the past. Even though I don't think David Canelo or Canelo Bud is as big as like Pacquiao Floyd, I don't think it reaches that tight. Like it's not that big of a fight. It's pretty damn close, and I think Turk is. If we could do that without Turk, with Turk, I think we can do it again. So I think it's gonna go, and I don't care what he make off of it and whatnot. And I think Crawford should get the fight first. It's like Ness said in the monologue. His fans are gonna say accomplishments and blah blah blah, and that's exactly how I feel. So Ness said everything. We gonna all say. And David lost his belt on the scale, but it's the better fight and blah blah blah. Yeah, I hear that side of the argument too. So, but I would take Crawford first, obviously because he's more likely to lose, even though I think he spoiled the plans. Davis second, and let's run it. It's Christmas. That's my call.
You may feel like it's your time, but it's not your time.
All right, shout out Cliff. If you want to call in, Discord available, Twitter Spaces is also available. We got Joe Pilot. What up? Looks like Blog Talk is down. I'm trying to get that going, but it is not connecting, so it must be a maintenance issue yet again.
Dime a ver, ¿tú me oyes?
Clarito, clarito.
It's him again. You already know, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, Big Turkey came back to the table. I think Turkey probably got advised that, hey, you're kind of talking to these guys like they're livestock. Like you can just talk to them however you want. You know how you know how it is in the hood when you like somebody says something about somebody and they go to him, confront him, the guy that heard something, and what do they say? Oh, nah, I didn't say it like that. So that's what Turkey's doing. He's backtracking. He know what he said, and he know what Canelo said. Canelo ain't say nothing to him, but he had to say, oh, he peeled the card. I didn't understand. It was a misunderstanding. Yeah, he took the short, but most great men have to take a short eventually in life if they ever want to go forward. So, good move from Turkey. And yeah, man, let's get Canelo versus Bud or Canelo versus Benavidez. But then I gotta, I just don't know what weight class for the Benavidez because he moved up. You think he's probably willing to move back down, right? For Canelo?
I mean, he better be willing to move back down for the biggest fight of his life.
I mean, I don't know. This man didn't want to pull the mandatory from the WBC. Who knows what he's willing to do? He didn't do what William Skull did. And I like Benavidez. He's an entertaining fighter, but still doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I mean, he was gonna wait regardless, 68 or 75. Might as well wait it at 68 where there's bigger names. But or Crawford. Maybe Crawford. Throw Crawford in there. But I think he's just saying that 200 million just to negotiate a little lower. I don't think he's actually, I think he's stronghold on that 250. I mean, that 200, 150. I think it's probably maybe a little bit like 100 million, maybe 80 million. He's probably trying to get the largest guaranteed what Riyadh season has given anybody since he is the biggest name, in America. Because, AJ might be bigger and known internationally because he's a heavyweight from the UK and all that. But Canelo, Canelo's big out here in America where it matters. You know, AJ came here and got the Jollof rice beaten out of him in New York City and never came back. So, you know, yeah, man, it's different out here in USA. And yeah, I want to see Crawford get in the ring. I heard about Crawford and Triple G. I don't want to really see that fight, but I guess it's a step in the right direction if Crawford is really going to do that. You know, Triple G is slow as molasses right now, so he can probably avoid a lot of them punches and, you know, win by decision. He's definitely not knocking out Triple G. So, you know, that'd be a good move too, you know, get a same name under the hat. The only other guy to beat Triple G was Canelo. So, you know, you'll have that in common with him. And then, yeah, you just then move up to 68. Or if not, don't do that at all and just get your payday at 68. Get the, you know, dare to be great compliments and
You may feel like
go
it's
into
your
the
time,
Nebraska
but it's not your
sunset.
time.
I'm out.
Yo, Bradley out here wilding, bruh. Talking about
What'd he say?
Canelo need to stay far, far away from M. Billy. Hey, yo, I can't wait for the day I get a Top Rank check or ESPN check. Them checks got to be real. Them dudes get up there and just straight turn to liars.
Yeah, that's musty work. Musty work from Tim right there, respectfully. Musty work.
He is bugging. He said he better stay away from M. Billy.
Canelo cooked that man.
Yo, then he called him the monster, M. Billy. Anybody just taking a monster name now. Yo, I'm out here like Make-A-Wish fund. You know, Team Rashidi hit me up like, yo, see if Pro Box, you know, if I could get that number. I'm like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Let's get Rashidi back speedy because PBC had him looking fucking needy. But it's a rollout.
Crazy.
But it's a rollout, you know. Leave it to some. They rolled out. Noble, what up?
Peace and blessings. What's poppin'?
Chillin'.
Indeed. Two-tone. So,
Yeah.
this is my question in general, man. How can a five-figure earner, how can they possibly conceive how a six-figure earner structures his business model, right? And then how can a six-figure earner possibly conceive how a seven-figure earner constructs his business model? Dig what I'm saying? And then tell me, how can a seven-figure earner possibly conceive how a billionaire constructs his business model? Which leads to the next point. How can a billionaire possibly conceive how a person who has almost at least, you know, close to $1 trillion in resources, conceive how he is going to structure his business model and how far ahead he's going to think? When I was broke, I couldn't think to the next day. I was just thinking about the next meal. When I started earning some money, I could think a little bit more. I could strategize a little bit more long term, right? When I started making more money and getting into a higher tax bracket, I could strategize 5-10 years down the line. What I'm saying is this. The Saudi government is strategizing past Turki Alalshikh's lifetime. So when he's allocated to spend on what he's allocated to spend on fights, you know what I'm saying? Because of course he's gonna have to answer to somebody. I don't know the particulars, but he's not the king. He's not the crown prince. He's more like Semi, right? But what I'm saying is this. When they thinking about their business model and their strategies and their structure and what they want to do with their cash that they have on hand now, the liquid resources that they have on hand now, how is it possible that me or anybody else who's a 5 or 6 figure earner can even imagine that they can think about what you know what I'm saying, like what their projections are, what they trying to do, what they can make back and all this other type of shit? This ain't even boxing talk. And the shit sound foolish. But anyways, I like Crawford and Canelo, that's cool, but I like Crawford and Virgil. Like I said before, and I'll say it again.
No, but you lost me. What sounds foolish and who's talking about whose business? This is Alalshikh telling an interviewer that if anyone can pay, it's him.
Now, let me get to the point. So what I'm saying, let me answer your question. So what I'm saying is this. Shout out to Cliff. And I agree with you. New caller of the year. I mean, whatever that is, rookie of the year. And Esteban from Oregon is the caller of the year. So, and the reason why I say that, because Cliff just said the shit. How was y'all? How were different people coming in, different callers coming in and saying, well, I don't know if he's gonna be able to make that back, so I don't know if he's gonna want to do this, that, and that. You don't know what his business structure is, what his strategy is, why he's spending the money, and where he's going with this shit down the line. So why the fuck is you part of self? Why is you trying to figure it out and care about it? We want the boxing. So if you want to fight, say you want to fight. Quit trying to talk about people's pockets that's so deep. You know what I'm saying? You were drowning in the shit. Shout out to the breast cancer warriors, the breast cancer angels, and the breast cancer survivors. Peace, Ness.
Peace. Certainly glad that you doubled down, because now I get what you're saying, because, you know, I wasn't understanding at first. Maybe I blacked out. But, yeah, I mean, he went a different angle with it. Cliff kept it simple. You want the fight, take the fight. Stop worrying about who making profit, because it ain't your business. It ain't my business. It ain't going to affect my business. So I don't know why we making it our business.
But I'm saying, like, yeah, that's cool to say. Very cool to say. But let's be realistic. It ain't going to do no 2 million pay-per-view buys. Turki Alalshikh just ain't out here like a whole ass nigga spending money like in 1959.
We truthfully don't know
that. I know he gonna go to the
We
king. The king
don't
gonna give him
know.
that budget, but the most likely competition wise, is an easier fight for Canelo to fight Terrence Bud Crawford. Competition wise, 200 million is just a number Canelo threw out. If Turki come back with 200 million, Canelo might say, "Well, I really wanted 300 million."
I'm just, I don't think it's our business.
It's not our business, but like Ness, you've done the math on here multiple times. What they gonna get a Nike sponsorship? Like respectfully, I'm a David Benavidez fan.
We don't know what the worldwide impact of Saudi Arabia being the ones that have to make this fight can mean for their country, let alone the tourism, the eyeballs on Riyadh season. Everything doesn't have to turn a profit financially. Visibility, branding is important. For Riyadh season to become more of a household name and phrase, for more people to Google search tourism in Saudi Arabia, that might be some of their goals. But going back to it not doing 2 million, I don't think that you can be sure. Remember, no one expected Canelo and Floyd to do 2.4, let alone Mayweather and Oscar. You just never know what's going to blow up. Look at McGregor and Floyd. Who the freak really thought that was going to do that many numbers, bro? Like, we just don't know.
Yes, Conor was a personality, the biggest fighter in UFC.
He was,
got the biggest boxer.
But we never seen them type of, bro. That eclipsed the biggest numbers. Remember, that did more than Mayweather, Canelo, Mayweather, Oscar, and Mayweather Pacquiao. Like, that was huge.
Now you're dealing with somebody in Conor McGregor who had personality. You're dealing with Canelo Alvarez, who is being promoted by Oscar De La Hoya, who Oscar De La Hoya was heavy on that promo. Now you have David Benavidez. He does not have the personality or the cachet of a Conor, of a Pacquiao.
But he brings the fear. He brings the fear. He's the reason the public thinks Canelo can lose.
He need a knockout. Presently constructed.
I mean, knockout is post, or are you saying pre the fight?
Right. Presently constructed. What is the bigger fight to the casuals today?
David.
No, it's Terrence Bud Crawford.
No, it ain't. But honestly, you know, Bud fans ain't gonna like it. But they lost that. They lost that with this last decision. He looked. Yes, he looked ordinary. No, he looked ordinary. He didn't look like. You're supposed to keep looking special so that we can believe this special fighter can beat this other extremely gifted fighter that's been on the top doing his thing for however long. Regardless of the loss to Bivol, he moved up to challenge himself in a division he doesn't belong. So, yeah, no, you had to keep looking special. That's why it's only Alalshikh pushing for the fight, because he didn't look special. He needed to keep the knockout streak going so people be like, look, see, weight classes don't matter to Bud. He different. He different. He touched Canelo, he going to stop him. That's gone. Now what? You about to outbox him? The fight ain't the same no more. You was Bud the Conqueror on this 11-fight knockout streak. Now you about to decision him? That's not what we was signing up for. We was signing up like you was about to beat him the fuck up, like you've been beating everybody else up. You about to decision him? Nah, Bud need another win. He got to look again for him to get picked over Benavidez. Like, why am I picking Bud over Benavidez? If Alalshikh says, okay, he already put it out there, give me the 10 fights you want. Man, you think it's more people put Canelo Crawford than Canelo Benavidez? No, we know Benavidez could end up tearing Canelo to pieces, leaving one limb on the floor, another one in the fucking ring somewhere, another one in the audience. Bro, we know we ain't getting that with Crawford. We going to get him to be intelligent and outbox Canelo. With Benavidez, we get two bears fighting. What you want? What's easier to sell?
Okay, so you're banking on Berlanga not taking a chunk out of Canelo. I'm of the knowledge that Berlanga's going to do something to Canelo. Father Time is undefeated. The shit got to kick in one day.
He ain't taking no nothing out of Canelo. Listen, if he took something out of Canelo, then Berlanga is more than what everybody thought and is going to be a better fight than what we thought. And everybody calling it a cherry pick is wrong. And that's a lot. That's a lot. Like, he's got all that against him.
What did David look like, though? If Terrence Bud Crawford looked ordinary against Madrimov, what did David look like in his last fight?
Exactly. They both in the same boat, bro.
That's why I said David needs a knockout, because right now it's not the Mexican monster, it's ordinary.
But neither is Bud. Neither is Bud, though. And at least David is a bigger man, so he's more of a monster than Bud. Bud moving up, getting decisions. David at least moving down, getting decisions. So he got the weight advantage. It's just different. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, look, it's up to the people. It's really up to y'all. What are you willing to pay for? What are you willing to pay for, right? Because if he says, I'm going to give y'all one, choose wisely, are you choosing the welterweight that started at 35, moving up to 68, or are you choosing the dude that was 250, boiled down, been at 68, deserves the shot, been there forever, it was his division, or are we going to make excuses? Oh, he didn't get unified with Callum. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. Like, you only pick one. Go ahead, Tank.
What's up, bro?
What up?
Yo, I guess this is some good news, right? But I mean, it is and it isn't, because, one dude we're talking about is definitely out of the 68 division. So does that mean if it does get made, we're bringing him back down about a year and a half later?
Exactly what it means. And remember, that's what I said Canelo would do. I said, why is he fighting a Canelo fighter? Because they're going to move his ass up, make him gain weight to struggle to come down. Y'all didn't see the play. Of course it is. It was not a coincidence that he was fighting fucking a Canelo Alvarez promoted fighter. That shit was all set up.
And then the other one, bro, I mean, I want to see it against Bud too. I'll watch any damn fight. I don't think it's going to be competitive. And a lot, even the Spanish version of Pro Box, after the fight with Madrimov, they said there's no way in hell this guy needs to go to 68 and fight Canelo for what? They said, we just seen one dude try it that's naturally bigger than Bud at 54, which was Jermel, and he made a fool of himself. Just went in there to collect the check. He's like, and everybody from them and a lot of other Spanish networks don't like the idea of Bud moving up. Not because they think they're beating Canelo, he's beating Canelo, because they believe it's a mismatch. A huge mismatch. There were some scenes in the Madrimov fight where Madrimov was catching him with the right, It stung Bud because Bud stuck his tongue out and was like, "Yo, what the fuck? You can't go out there and get caught like that by a Canelo, bro. It's lights out. It's just lights out." I know a lot of people say he's a dog. He's a dog. I thought Jermell Charlo was a dog. He showed me he was a fucking dog with Castaño in both fights. Went up there and that dog was not the same size of dog that Canelo brought that fight that night. That Crawford fight, bro, it's either gonna go two ways. He's getting beat the fuck up if he decides to engage, or he's gonna try to outbox him and circle around the ring like Jermell did. There's too many asterisks, like people say. But like I said, bro, I don't care. If we get them, we get them. They're fucking fights, and I'm gonna watch them. The David one, yeah, but I don't know how I feel a year and a half later. This dude coming back down or trying to make 68. That's crazy. I feel like Canelo's beating the shit out of him if he does that. That's bad for him. But if that's the only way we're gonna get it, I guess throw him in there. Stack up Canelo's resume, bro. That's it. And that's all I got, bro.
All right, champ.
If anybody
You may feel like it's your time,
can pull off the unthinkable,
but it's not your
and if
time.
anybody that has a team that can construct a game plan that studies fighters for multiple years, it's Terrence Bud Crawford and them scientists he has in his corner. Don't let Madrimov be your gauge. Yeah, in the heat of the moment, we're going to say, yeah, keep Bud away from Canelo. But Bud Crawford's one of the most competitive people that you're going to meet. I'm telling you, do not sleep on Terrence Bud Crawford versus Canelo. There was a reason Madrimov did not want to let his hands go. Something was coming back hot to him that he felt.
Word. That we can agree on, but something was coming back hot at Crawford, and he ain't let his hands go too much either. Like, he wasn't the normal finisher that he was, or do you disagree? You think he was, because again, how do you blame the other dude? You can't blame the other dude, Crawford, if he's a killer, he goes out there and kills.
Like we said in the lead up to the fight, Madrimov, very awkward, herky-jerky.
And that's cool. Tank, he only ain't get a knockout when he had a hurt hand. Did Crawford have a hurt limb or something that we didn't know about?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right. So, is he the killer that y'all thought? And that's what I'm saying. If we only getting one, if they only giving us one, are we sevening David? Who's our Troy? You feel me? Or rather, his real name, I think the movie, his name is Achilles. Who's our Achilles? Who we sending? Are we sending Bud to get the win and beat Canelo, or are we sending Benavidez, the 300 Spartan warrior?
I like magical stories. I want to see Bud Crawford be up there with Sugar Ray Robinson and Ali.
You done flip-flopped all on your man Benavidez.
No,
you roll with him this
David
long.
got to get a knockout.
You done roll with him this long. Now you're like, well, you moved up. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. You really, wow. Okay. Hey, look. If that's what the public wants, you only getting one, so you got to pick right. That's all that matters. We got to pick the right one.
I don't want I don't want David Benavidez have to come down, get memo, come down and fight week. He drinking the water bottle and everybody say he looked dry. No, I don't know.
I mean, he is going to get that. He moved up. It's a wrap. And then he didn't even, come back down. He stood. So now you got that out of camp weight, that moved up weight. You done settled in weight. I wish he would have just announced the Zuldo fight. Why didn't he told me, look, I'm gonna move up to 75, be better, and I get it. His story's not finished. He want to be better, be Bivol winner, then move up for Zuldo. But man, it's just these other fights that's being rumored for him are no bueno. At least Crawford got a rumor Virgil Ortiz possible fight as long as he take it. What the
Crawford
hell?
don't want that either. Crawford trying to retire.
What the hell does
you need a magical moment? How, Ness, if you're ESPN, you want to say two-time undisputed, 154 unified champion, Terrence Bud Crawford, eliminated his nemesis, Earl Spence. Then you do have David the Mexican Monster. He got to come down, get drained. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be Sugar Ray Leonard levels of history right there. Should Crawford do that? And I'm with you, Tone. You know, I like magical stories, man. You know, I used to write rhymes myself, man, but I don't like Canelo. I don't like Canelo Crawford. After what I seen, because again, it's just fighters that have an issue with the power moving up doesn't mean that I'm expecting a knockout. I just need to know that this fighter has enough, fighter A, moving up has enough to keep fighter B, who's in that division, off of them to make it a competitive enough fight. So that's my only question. I got some trepidation about that.
What up, though? I mean, it sounds like you rather Benavidez get the shot. Like if Alalshikh is coming to you and he's saying you only get one.
Yeah, and in the movies, that's usually not how it goes, right? In the movies, the big man goes in and then he loses, and then they usually need that special guy who may or may not be undersized. That's what all the good stories end like. But again, that's just the storylines, and in reality, now again, Benavidez, I think the size and the volume of punches gives him a much better opportunity than, say, a Crawford. So if I had to send the guy in there, I gotta send in Benavidez for sure.
But Ness,
I'm listening.
One of the biggest nights in boxing history would be Terrence Bud Crawford defeating Canelo, and one of the biggest stories.
I don't know. I think
sports.
It's a bigger story if Berlanga beats Canelo
over Crawford.
Absolutely, Crawford's on his way out. Berlanga would be a young 26, 7-year-old new Puerto Rican star, reigniting the Puerto Rican boxing public. They haven't been excited for Puerto Rican boxing since Miguel Cotto, who, let's be real, he didn't really give him that many legendary wins, in his old age. Yes, he got them big wins in the beginning, but, nothing as big as a Canelo win. While Mosley's a good win and so is Judah, I think if Berlanga sleeps Canelo, he's in the history books faster and in a different status than a Miguel Cotto, quite possibly.
So you think he would be on Jimmy Fallon?
If he knocks out Canelo, who's never been dropped, my dude, do you know what we're talking about?
Okay.
Like Andy didn't even sleep AJ. He just battered him and AJ, mentally quit. But like if you sleep Canelo, yeah, it's different.
I mean, even if he's, first of all, if he beats Canelo, the only way he can beat Canelo is if sleeping Canelo. And yeah, Tone, it is the bigger win because, hey, let's be truthful, Berlanga ain't done shit. Crawford is undisputed champion.
Yeah,
like you said, defeated his nemesis. So some people are gonna say, you got them people out there, Tone. I knew he was gonna do it.
Exactly.
Right? But with Berlanga, man, listen, that shit is improbable.
It will go viral, but if Terrence Bud Crawford does the unthinkable and beats Canelo, you're talking about mentioning him in the same breath as LeBron, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant.
But for some, that's what I'm telling you. But for some, again, whether they frauding or not, it's thinkable. It's some bud tenders out there, and those that are even more hardcore than that. They're gonna tell you, "I knew it would happen." Nobody except Suleiman is telling you that Berlanga is gonna be Canelo. So.
But look, when I was in Vegas with Ness and them at that fight party, them Omaha people, they thrived in being the underdog. They thrived in it. The Spence fans was just cocky. That's Canelo fans. Omaha shit is the 8 behind the 8 ball. That's Omaha. So when they do this, that parade that Ness and them went to, it's going to be triple. Like, I'm telling you, if Crawford does that, that's the biggest thing that happened to boxing in a minute. Huge if Crawford does that, to me.
Well, let's see here. Who is up next? I think I got a couple super chats I need to get to. First one is from Brambo, $2. And he says, and Billy hurt his left arm early in their fight. Oscar Leva, member for 21 months on a prospect level. Salute, champ. Canelo versus Benavidez, Crawford versus GGG, Cinco de Mayo. I wouldn't mind Crawford, GGG. Anybody Canelo's already fought is who Crawford need to be fighting. That's how Turki Alalshikh need to be thinking. Galaxy Studios, $2. Why? Because they failed with golf. Money bag don't mean nothing. Capiche. Rising stock emoji. Chart increasing, chart decreasing emoji. So there you go. We got Years of Lurking, $2. Man, Jamel could crack and Canelo walk right through. That's true. El Frio, 1211, $5. Speaking as a fan of both Bud and David, Bud needs to sit this one out. David deserves it more because he wasn't defeated at 168 for the belts. What's your guys' thoughts on that logic? I told you that his fans would say that he deserved it more than Bud because he was in the division.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could go with that. And also, I mean, listen, he's closer to the division. Like, yeah, I mean, that's exactly the point. You've been in the division. That's kind of been set up as the nemesis. That's, you know, your rival, you know, in some ways, or the young guy that's been chasing you. So, yeah, that's more of what it is than Crawford. You know, Crawford is like, it's an opportunity and an entertaining feat to watch. You know what I'm saying? But Benavidez is the real storyline. Like, I've been chasing this motherfucker. Let me at him.
Yeah, I agree. David Benavidez closer to the division. He never lost. He lost his belts on the scale. It's a cool story. It'll be cool. But the magical one is Terrence Bud Crawford daring to be great and knowing in every great moment Crawford has shine.
Well, we got Julio Guzman, $2. Randall beat Chavez, and it did nothing for Randall. Yeah, I mean, some people don't bubble. Some people don't bubble. And that's been one thing that's been very difficult for me to understand in this sport, especially living through the Andy situation. You know, watching Andy become an overnight success, a meteoric rise, that was insane. You know, no one's ever been able to do that again, which is crazy. You would expect Bivol to have blown up after the Canelo win, and it did nothing for him. Nothing. Like, Bivol's not any more popular than he was. People will argue with me that he's more popular because he beat Canelo, but I'll tell you this. Bivol's the only dude that is like constantly in the media for domestic violence and doesn't get any hatred. That's how you know he's not popular.
Yeah, that's true.
His wife's domestic violence cries and calls for help go like no one cares. No one says nothing. No one reports on it. He never gets interviewed about it. It's wild. It's almost like the Sergey Kovalev situation a mad years ago. You would have had to have lived through it, you know, where he did some shit and then he made a shirt and then it was just brushed under the rug. You feel me? But that's how you know these dudes ain't popular.
Well, I think sometimes the way it goes is like I talked about earlier in, you know, this morning show is the thing of resiliency outside of the ring. So boom, Andy respectfully came into the ring fat. He won and got fatter with the money. You get what I'm saying? Never was the same guy. Joshua had to dig deep because he had the money Andy had before Andy got it, and the money didn't mean a thing. We would have shamed him, and he was shamed and publicly scrutinized. He had to build back and bounce back. And some fighters just have that resiliency, win or lose, you know? It boils down to the fighter. And some fighters, they could take a good win. Look, Buster Douglas, he beat Mike Tyson. We're talking about one of those guys years later. Mike Tyson went on to lose probably more times than Douglas went on to win after their bout. And we're still talking about Mike Tyson because you still got to demonstrate some resiliency, whether it's inside the ring or outside the ring. And in a lot of cases, it's what you do outside of the ring that shows up for what you're able to do inside the ring. And just real quick, I just think that's one of the things. Earl Spence never quite showed that resiliency after his accident. You know, some people go through things in life and they show resiliency. I don't think he ever really showed that. So that's why I think it's been a slower start to see him return and a lot of questions about his return.
Well, we got Mike on Twitter. What up?
Yo.
Yo.
Yeah, regarding the Bebo talk, I think Bebo could barely speak very good English, so it's very hard to market. I say
Canelo
that
doesn't speak English till now, champ. That's not an excuse. Cotto didn't speak English. Benavidez don't even speak English. Come on.
But let me talk, bro. Canelo has a whole country of Mexico behind him.
Oh,
That's
I'm sorry.
totally
I didn't know
different.
Russia. I didn't know Russia didn't exist.
Well, Russia just went in with that whole issue with Ukraine, and you know that's kind of like a clusterfuck of an issue.
I mean,
But
what does that have to do with
of,
supporting your fellow Russian?
Listen, is the politics of the sport, unfortunately. But I'll go on in terms of Crawford versus Bud. I mean, Crawford versus Benavidez on who gets the fight. I mean, I know that the Crawford story might be magical and everything, but that might leave a whole power vacuum within the sport, because if Bud leaves and is out the door, who has the mantle for being a pay-per-view star? That kind of leaves the sport a little empty. That would, for the benefit of the sport, I think Benavidez needs to get that shot. Whether he actually wins or not, that's gonna be up to him. But if he does manages to win, he'll carry the mantle, and that's what Canelo wants to do. He's selling that torch right now. He's selling it for $200 million. But that's my call, guys.
Yo, let me say something right quick. We can't be doing that. We got to change the way we think, man. I'm not and I'm with Gary from Pro Box. Shout out to the producer, because that was a nice reel they put up. Let's stop measuring and wanting these guys to charge us for these fights. Like, I get it. I'm almost verbatim quoting Gary. I get it that that's how some of these guys make money. But respectfully, let's not force ourselves to feel good about paying $80 a pop,
bro,
so we could say this guy's a pay-per-view star.
But why does it take fucking Gary Jonas to say that? I've been saying that here for years. Like, you,
I've been saying it too. I'm just saying it because it's on our show. What do you mean?
These dudes just want to argue about their favorite fighter being a star. They don't care. They'd rather pay for, Tank versus Frank, Tank versus Hector, just to say Tank's on pay-per-view. And it's like, that's not how things work, man. Like, we need to value our time and our money. Yeah. Like, y'all not valuing your money, man. And to me, you got to give me more for 80 now these days. I can't just fork it over. Now, if I'm gonna be working, I'm doing a fight chat, Tone coming over, we at the studio. Different.
Like,
but just sitting in my house paying $80 for your garbage pay-per-view, them days is done.
Yeah,
done.
Man. I'm not bragging for nobody to be no pay-per-view star of my dollar, man. Go ahead, Tone.
But look at it like this,
That's
man.
why I know these dudes be stealing. Because they just want Tank and all these other alleged pay-per-view stars to fight whoever so they can steal it and say, well, my fight is on pay-per-view. All the while they on VIP League or some other shit like that.
Nez, a dude, the way the casuals think, a dude just don't want the free Gucci shirt if it's free.
No, and you're right. You're right. People will be like, yo, damn, bro, I know this pay-per-view worthy, but it don't feel like a big fight because it ain't on pay-per-view. It's like if you don't get your condition, dumb ass, like you've been whooped so long, you want another ass whooping. It just don't make sense with these dudes. So I tell you, I relate them to these dudes that's into S&M. They love the torture.
Nah, that's that Oscar, Ness. But, Ness, it's a culture, bro. Mike Tyson built the culture. Fight party, chips, hamburgers, yams, pay-per-view, people coming over to the crib. That is culture. And regardless of what people say, the Fire Stick Boys is a culture. It's a culture of, I ain't paying for the pay-per-view. I got it for free. That is boxing culture. That's the culture of boxing. Mike Tyson, pay-per-view. Floyd Mayweather, pay-per-view. Canelo, pay-per-view. Gervonta Tank Davis, pay-per-view. When you get in a Tank Davis fight, you know the party lit.
And that's true. It's a party, but it don't always got to be pay-per-view to be a party. Like, why we can't say Tank got a big Saturday night fight, let's do a party. Let's meet up. Like, why it got to be, yo, let's fork over $80. Now it's a movie. Nah,
and look,
I ain't with that.
If Tank Function is pay-per-view and we paid to get in that function, I'm not going to the house party trying to stick $100 in the nigga hand just because I paid to get into the 40-40. I'm not treating those venues the same. My expectation is not the same. If I'm going to the 40-40 and I got to do what I got to do, I understand where I'm going, but I'm not expecting the barbecue to be like the 40-40. Stop expecting your favorite fighter who's a fucking barbecue to be like the 40-40.
That's true too. Not everyone pay-per-view. Like
they not.
Hector Garcia, that should have been for free.
Word is born.
I agree. That should have been a barbecue.
Word is born.
Tank Ryan pay-per-view. Tank Devin pay-per-view. Tank Shakur, I think that's free. I think that's
you wilding
That's
right
40-40.
Now.
That's 40-40. Come on, man.
He
showed it with sneakers and shorts on.
The hate is great with this one. The hate is great with this one. You already know. Listen. We got a couple callers and super chats we got to get to. If you're watching this on YouTube, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe. We finally reached that goal of 230,000. You know we want that 250, but right now we looking for 231. We're at 230,284. So we need about another 750 to make it to the next goal, man. But what's going on? We're going out to Cliff. I believe you sent the counter. Let me double check this. I believe I seen somebody come through with a counter. Yes, Cliff in Connecticut.
Yo, I was trying to get up in there when y'all was talking about it. First, I want to speak. Y'all was saying if Berlanga beat Canelo versus if Bud beat Canelo, and I think y'all fell on different ends of the spectrum. I gotta go with two-tone, because if Berlanga beat him, nuts. I know it's a big deal because no one expected it, but that's when they gonna call it. It was a fluke. It was a lucky punch. But if Bud beats Canelo, it was like he's the greatest. He's Jordan. He's Kobe. Y'all just saw Sugar Ray Leonard in this millennium. Like you witnessing greatness in real time. Like it's gonna get the credit. But if Berlanga beats him, it was a lucky punch. It was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? So that it's different.
You ain't lying about that. Like the haters of Berlanga will say it was a lucky punch, but the island of Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican Americans, the 9 million total of the Puerto Ricans, both on the island and here, they are going to support. And it's going to turn Berlanga into the cash cow, the A side. So fights with him and David are now worth it. Fights with him and Munguia are not worth it. And there is a torch carrier with Crawford winning. He ride off into the fucking sunset. And
you're right.
The belts are scattered. And we're left with no one. No one.
What's wrong with that?
Floyd did that whack shit.
Hold on,
you gotta give the fucking power to some. You got the glow now, Leroy. You gotta give the glow to someone. Not hate on the glow. Try to take your glow like Floyd. Floyd's still out here with the fucking glow. That's the problem. You're not even active. Let it go. Pass the glow, man. Get a flow to someone else. When you got the glow, you got the power inside. Feel me? That's from Leroy.
That man from Baltimore, Maryland will have the glow.
He never got it passed, though. Look at Floyd hating on him. Oh, this fight canceled.
Y'all hijack Cliff call. Give him his call back.
Nah, we gonna give him a whole new call, but I'm just saying, Floyd ain't passing no glow, bruh. He's stealing it from Tank every chance he get. He trying to turn off his light, lying about his fight being canceled, making up fake rumors. He ain't giving up the glow, and neither do Canelo.
He running extension cord on his glow.
Neither do Canelo out here talking about he don't want to fight Mexicans. Then he picking which Mexicans he want to fight. He picking who he want to get a glow to. That's why he talking nice about Jaime. He like Jaime. He trying to shoot Jaime some bail. That's why he ain't stop him. Come on, man. He caught and shoot, bam, bam, boom. Put his ass down. You think he could have turned it up if he wanted to? Of course. He out here being nice to Jaime on some fake love. But go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, he carried them for damn sure. But y'all told no lies. Both sides, like, that's the truth. It's gonna be better for the sport if Berlanga won, but if Bud won, that's history. It's more historic. Like when you watch the star set shoot.
Bro, we don't care.
Like,
we don't even bring up history now, though, champ. Like, when do we bring up history now? What we care about is the present and the future.
Guess maybe. See, I'm only like a 2-year, 3-year hardcore. Like, but in other sports, Brady getting to watch that shit, Jordan, LeBron, Peyton Manning, like that shit is like this. Like I thought boxing get it like that too. Floyd.
Yeah, you got your dudes that like to go back and watch old fights, but like, bro, come on, boxing is now. It's happening every fucking second. Like, who got time for the old? We talking about now and then what's in the future, and that's why we need someone to take the torch and run with it, not
carry it.
Not take the torch and bury this shit in a mantle like, ha, here goes the torch on my motherfucking mantle and I'm retired. Nah, man, Floyd did that already.
I bet. All right, but this is what else I want to touch on. Y'all hit after. Y'all was talking about Charlo moving up and boxing and bitching up and he couldn't take it. So why you think Bud Gunn? I heard y'all touched on it in the caller. I think it was Tim Bradley. Somebody said skills pay the bills, but then they was like they said something about will pay the bills. Like the will to win is just as important as skills. And like Two-Tone was saying, Crawford is one of the most competitive fighters. If Crawford get in there, he don't stop comparing him to Charlo. They're two different dogs. He's a real pit bull, American pit bull. You put him in there, he's not gonna lay down. He's gonna fight. I don't care what kind of dog you put in front of him. Charlo wasn't a pit. He was some type of fucking dog that was vicious, but it wasn't the real, true American pit bull. That's what Crawford is. And Crawford don't beat his female. Now, this dude was beating his female. He was acting tough on the camera. He's not a real one. He's not a real nigga.
He's a punk ass Doberman, Cliff.
That's what he is. He's a Doberman. He's a guard dog. He ain't really like that. I think Crawford like that. If Crawford get in there, I'm fucking with him. And I feel like if you had to bet your money on one fighter, if it was Benavidez or if it was Bud, I feel like Benavidez is the pick with your fucking head. But I gotta be emotional like a female and go with my heart. My heart, it tells me.
Phone call last minute, Cliff.
I got a phone call, but my heart would tell me Bud to get it done. Bud ain't gonna lay down. He gonna die out there before he lay down.
So Benavidez laying down these days. That's wild right now.
I don't know.
No, David, bro. David not laying down. Bro.
That's wild. Benavidez gonna go out on a shield, man. He gonna give up his arm if he got to get the win that night. Y'all know that.
Well, I think Cliff was saying, like if you had to, like, how they say, like, yo, gun to your head, which one you had to pick to like go all out.
Mm-hmm.
If he had to pick between the two, I believe he might pick Crawford, and I could see that sentiment.
And I get that too. Everybody's entitled to pick who they think deserves it, but it's just wild to me that Crawford is getting choice. Like the man, July 22nd through the 29th, the man was saying his weight classes for reasons. Now all you flunkies, all you goddamn sheep. Where my sheep soundbite for these damn sheep? Damn sheep. Now all these sheep just saying everything Crawford's saying, and it's like, nah, he can beat him. No, bruh. No. Dude said it was weight classes for a reason. He high off the win, and y'all want to run with that. How is Benavidez getting jumped over and y'all okay with this? Like, this is wild.
I mean, two things could be true. Like, I'm fine with either way. I know Canelo fans don't want David because around 7, 8, and 9, when Canelo getting that ass whooped, pillar to post, when David's taking the Mexican fans by the fucking bullhorn, y'all gonna be like, oh, we should have went with Crawford. I'm trying to give Canelo fans some bail because we already know what David gonna do. We already know by round 9, 10, when Canelo can't keep his hands up for 3 minutes of the round and David whooping that ass, we already know what's gonna happen. We already know.
I'm just saying, man, David has been waiting for so long. He's deserving. But we got Jerome Barber, $5. Y'all not tired of seeing Canelo beat one-dimensional come-forward fighters? Crawford's versatility would freeze Canelo. David Benavidez gets stopped by Canelo. Now David is not the one, and Crawford is the one. Julio Guzman, $5. I like Crawford, but unfortunately, he doesn't appeal to the casuals. You have to bring the casuals in to be a superstar. See Jake Paul.
And who's more of a pay-per-view star, David or Terrence Crawford?
They have the same trajectory. They have the same trajectory right now. Obviously Crawford has the better pay-per-view with Bud, but I mean with Earl. But remember, before that he was doing like 150. Did he ever do 200? I'm not being like mean. I'm being honest. Like, I don't really know of him doing 200.
I mean, what he do with Spence?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's his biggest one. That don't, outside of Spence, which was PBC, I think maybe the Porter, but that was also PBC.
I mean, but see, to me, that kind of don't matter.
That wasn't PBC. That wasn't PBC. That was a PBC fighter.
But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, like Crawford, look at what we're talking about. Crawford and Porter, Crawford and Spence, right? It's Crawford is the common denominator. David don't even have that sort of equation set up yet.
What you mean? Yeah. If you go to Crawford's first pay-per-view, it's comparable to David's second pay-per-view.
Yes, but we still talking about David fighting on the undercard against Jesse Hart. Like, it's different.
Yeah.
Come on, you know what I'm saying?
You undercard, bro.
I mean, one dude got like 6 pay-per-views. The other dude only got 2.
Well, that's the point.
But if you comparing they starts, David has a decent start compared to Crawford. It's comparable.
But we're just saying now. If we had to go with now, and right now, it's Crawford.
Yo, they slighting David every which way. And Conquest, $3. Make them ninjas show their receipts for free calls. Julio Guzman, $2. Berlanga would be a bigger star if he beats Canelo. Of course. Lil Zooted on the champ level, $2. I will pay double to cancel Cliff's terrible calls. Mad Bet, $100, $5. Nightly dose of Tanquil. David versus Canelo is the fight to make. David would toast cinnamon toast. We got Tyrant.
I Instagram check. David's at 657,000 followers. Bud's at 1.8 million.
Bud's been fighting long. He's 36. David in his 20s. You can't compare. Like, if you're gonna compare, you got to compare where Bud was at when he was 20.
That's true.
Yo, what's good, Ness?
What up?
What's good, Two-Tone?
What's cracking?
Not much, man. Another day, another blessed, man. Shouts out TBV. On this topic, first, shouts out to Samson, man. Shouts out to Samson from Davis' team. If you guys recall in an interview he did, it was a question asked based about Canelo when Canelo basically first came out with the whole 100 million plus.
He told me on this show that it was a decent amount of money. That it wasn't outrageous.
Exactly. And from there, everyone's saying, "Oh, Canelo, he's outpricing himself and did this and did that." But shouts out to Canelo and Turk. If I go over next, build me. Shouts out for Turk for swallowing his ego. I feel like he's starting to come down to earth. He's starting to realize at the end of the day he needs Canelo because you have a fighter over there that earlier in your show as well, Ness, that Turk stated that Bud probably won't take the Virgil fight. He only wants Canelo. In an interview, Bud said basically I only want Canelo one for the legacy, and not only just because of legacy, but that bank account. That bank account gonna look good. So basically, what this is telling me, one, David Benavidez's team definitely fumbled the bag, fumbled the fight dramatically. Must see energy how they fumbled the fight. Because since then, and I'm a huge fan of Canelo, but Canelo was smart as well. He shot that number out there. You say, "Oh, I'm deserving of it." Oh, of course I'm deserving of it. I done fought everybody. I have the best resume in boxing to date. And not only did I say I deserve it, but Benavidez, your team even said you deserve it. And shouts out to Turk as well, because again, he's starting to realize at the end of the day, he needs Canelo. Bud don't want to fight no one else but Canelo because one, for legacy, and two, for the retirement check. That's what it is. I don't believe Bud wants to go to fight Virgil, to fight all these guys at 154. I think Bud put the basically pressure. I don't even want to say pressure, but kind of let Turk know, like, listen, Turk, I want to fight Canelo. I don't know what you think you have a plan for me, but this is the fight I want. I want Canelo. And it's funny because last week or a week and a half ago, then Turk supposedly went on when Bud was fighting and say, "Oh, I sent the offer to Canelo. If he's smart, he is accepted." And then Canelo went on and said, "I'm not negotiating during my fights." Then Turk say, "Oh, well, he's ducking fighters. He's scared of Bud. He's scared of Benavidez. He's outpricing himself." Now all of a sudden, the only one that can pay it is me. Now we going back for a circle. It's funny to me, you know, how these people bash Canelo this and Canelo that, but Canelo is still the face of boxing. Canelo is still the cash cow. And another thing, which I believe, I believe Bud and Canelo does between 8 and a million pay-per-views. Easy. I believe that fight will be bigger than Canelo and Benavidez. I feel like the casuals believe that David doesn't beat Canelo. I believe that the casuals more so believe that Bud can beat Canelo rather than David can beat Canelo. I feel like Bud and Canelo is kind of, and I'm not going to say this as, I don't want to take it literal, but Floyd versus Canelo too. In a certain way, in certain people's eyes, how they'll look at it. Because some people might say, "Oh, Bud is a better welterweight
You may
than
feel like it's
Floyd,"
your
or
time,
"I'm a billion. I'm gonna see
but
you
it's
another
not your
five,
time.
man."
All right.
You know, people say, you know, Bud is better than Floyd, or Bud would beat Floyd. So I can kind of see this as I'm not saying Bud is Floyd, but when you look at, like another caller was saying, how styles make fights, some people can look at it out there like, okay, well, this is Canelo's chance of maybe beating a Floyd type fighter, his skills, you know, that much. But I believe Canelo beats both of them. Even David Benavidez, I think David Benavidez's style is still made for Canelo. But what we need to do as boxing fans as well is continue to follow the history of what's going on right now, because there's so many narratives being pushed out. First, Canelo's a duck. He don't want to fight nobody. Now, oh, well, I can negotiate with him after the fight. The only one that can pay the $100 and something million is me. And I kind of look at this, Ness. Remember the call, and I was like, okay, well, how much many pay-per-view buys did Bud sell? You was like, you know, it don't matter about the star and stuff. So suppose, let's say if he made between 100,000 to 200,000 pay-per-view buys. I could see Turk like, okay, well, maybe I do need Canelo, because maybe I do want to start seeing some money off of my investments. Do you see that taking place? And also, last thing, and I'm out, and I'm a cash happy Ness and two-tone. do you see the fight being made because of when we heard the interview with Canelo? Canelo basically saying it's on my time, it's not on your time. So me thinking that, I'm like, okay, so will primarily the fight be on PBC, Canelo Promotions associated with PBC, DAZN, the Rider Season, or would it be Turk? Like, okay, well, yeah, but it's gonna be Rider Season association with Canelo Promotions. But that's just my call, champ.
That's a lot. That's just a
Yeah, I
lot.
know
You
that's
know,
a
they
lot.
gotta. That's like negotiations because Canelo does normally control his card, but so does Turk. So if Turk is paying you what
Exactly.
you want, you shouldn't have. I don't think Canelo has a right to put together an undercard if Turk is giving him the ridiculous amount of money that he wants. And I don't want Canelo to put a. None of us should want Canelo to put an undercard.
Exactly.
We don't want Frank Sanchez or none of them dudes that he's trying to prop up. We want Turki Alalshikh like undercards, which means everything like Crawford undercard, everything like AJ Nagano undercard. We want those type of
Absolutely.
undercards.
Facts, facts. And I can see even when the Turk was saying, the Mexican versus American, but the reason why I say that because we know how prideful Canelo is. And we seen him, and I say he on his Floyd era where he's talking his stuff. I'm the money man, it's on my terms, this how it's gonna work. I've been owning cassette 80% since 18. So that's why I asked, because I feel like
You may
Canelo's at the
feel like
stage
it's your
where
time,
he really don't need the money.
but it's
But
not
I'm
your
gonna send
time.
you the Cash App,
For sure,
champ. I
champ.
appreciate you, man.
All right. Alan the Bay, what do you say?
Canelo
Yo, yo,
David
yo,
would be
yeah,
trash
yo.
card.
What up,
Stand
champ?
up. Yo, man. Shout out to you, Ness. Shout out to Tone. It's not a superstar, right? I'm just playing with you. Uh, yeah, man. I think if I had to pick one, it would definitely be David. But if Turk can pull it off, I'm not saying how much it's gonna cost, but if he can pull it off and get Crawford first and then David next, and that'll be a good retirement check for Canelo. Um, I think those two fights will sink his legacy as the top dog. Um, with Crawford, you got that who's pound for pound best fighter, you know, uh, on the line. Who's number one? But with David, it's kind of like who's the real Mexican, you know. So you can play with both of those options. You got the real Mexican, or you got the Mexican monster. You got you know who's number one pound for pound fight. So I like both. Um, I want to bring this up. I know you probably wasn't gonna make a show about it, but I'm gonna bring it up real quick. I seen that little Devin Haney trouble, whatever you want to call it, uh, fake jump, because it was kind of like they fake jumped him. Um, you know, Devin Haney, his boys should have pulled him out of there before it got heated. Um, Devin Haney didn't really throw like a power punch. Kind of threw like a little Batman jab, kind of like all right, I threw the first punch. Y'all can go get him now. Type of situation. Um, I definitely think that whoever the dude with the jersey, uh, he sucker punched and still couldn't. He dropped him, but it was like he really didn't have no power. Uh, you feel me? And I don't know. It's just like it was just weird. It's like they all took off on him, but he still stand up. So it's kind of like y'all can't even jump nobody right. Uh, man. Uh, yeah, man. So it should have been mano a mano. Should have been toe to toe, 1-on-1. You know, instead of they all
You
trying to
may
jump on
feel
one
like it's your
person.
time,
So
but it's not
It's
your
a
time.
weird fake jump, but they should have been pulled
That's
him
the
out of it.
bell. That's the bell. Listen, I got a 6 o'clock little meeting I got to go to here in Vegas. So we are drive-by mode. We ain't done that in a while. But I'm getting a minute that everybody left. Take it or leave it, because I got to go. Quan.
Yo, Ness, what up?
What up?
I'm just scrolling on my timeline. I see they saying that Joe Cordina and Shakur came to an agreement. I just want to know what is Shakur doing fighting Joe Cordina? How does that make sense to y'all?
Staying busy, champ. Staying busy because Cepeda need more time. Shakur's ready. I don't see how y'all got
So
an
you
issue
can't
with
find
this.
nobody else just to stay busy. Like
I
tune
mean,
up.
you
Didn't
gotta
he already
stay
just had
busy.
that?
You gotta stay busy and undefeated. So it's gotta be minimal risk. This is just to get you out, shake it out, let the people see you get a knockout. You know, that's why you moving this kid
Is he
up.
gonna get the? Is he gonna get the knockout? I'm like
I
he
mean,
fighting this the last time he fought Artem coming off a loss. Now he fighting him coming off a loss. He gotta knock one of these motherfuckers out for his stock to rise because they already been talking so much shit. And I'm a fan of Core, I support Core, but I want to see more. I feel like why not with running it back with De Los Santos would be too much of a risk before Zepeda?
I mean, I reached out to some people for De Los Santos and he's still in DR, so I don't know how much of an option he is.
I get it. I just want to see more from that. I don't like that being his first fight with Eddie. So hopefully he get this Cepeda fight. Hopefully Tank don't pull no slick one on everybody else because we still need to find an opponent for Tank. And I think Cepeda that'll be the perfect opponent. He go back to the green print and it'll be probably the best one the best Mexican he ever fought, in my opinion. If he fights Cepeda, so they better watch out. That's all I'm saying. But as far as a little bit back to the topic of
Champ, that is it. I'm only giving
okay,
out
all
a
right.
minute. Copy cool, what it do?
What's good, chat? What's going on?
What up?
Yeah, man. What's going on? Yeah, that the motherfuckers is crazy talking about Canelo. McBilly is scared, or Canelo got to stay away from McBilly. That is fucking absurd, bro. Canelo will destroy McBilly. McBilly is nothing impressive. He was getting touched by a one-handed fighter, but yeah, man, Canelo. So they're gonna pay old boy 200 million, or they talking about it?
He's saying if anybody could do it, it's Riyadh season, and yes, there will be another conversation after the Berlanga fight.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, if there is a fight that I would rather see would be the Benavidez because he is that weight class. I think Crawford coming up, not to keep on knocking on. I just think that it should just be outmatched. I think Benavidez is the fight. Um, Again, I think Canelo takes both of these guys. I think it'll be a nice payday, a nice retirement party for them. But he says 5 years, but I think he's gonna see more than that. Yeah. And as far as Shakur and Cardino, that's a perfect fight to be made right now. To stay busy fight, like you kind of mentioned that it's a stay busy fight. Former champion, stay busy, do what you got to do, keep it moving, keep on knocking these people out. Eddie's gonna do what he has to do for his people, for his European fighters. He's gonna keep on getting them paydays, which is what he does best. Even if it's at the risk of them getting their ass beat. But that's a good fight. It's a good matchup. But that's all I really got, champ.
All right. Big Nick. Big Gucci. All right. G-Von.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Ness? Hey, shout out TBV. Audio finally back. Audio be fucking trash on Discord, man. Hey,
Look, man, this is why I tell people you can't listen to fat people. What the hell is Two Tone talking about, bro? Like, this is crazy, man. You said
I'm
this is a
happy, bro.
culture thing. Two Tone. You said this is culture. Fire Stick Boys. Come on, man. You
Absolutely.
disrespectful. I know. Hey, Two Tone. Look, don't worry. Mama Lobo is not watching. I know right now it's killing you. It's killing you to stay on code. How you talking about Crawford deserves this fight more than David Benavidez? You get what I'm saying? Come on, be real, man. David deserves this fight more than anybody else, and he should get the fight. And on top of that, he's gonna do bigger numbers with Canelo than Crawford will. Because at the end of the day, these fire stick boys that you talk about is a culture. Y'all didn't support this last Bud fight. They talking about the numbers are horrific. You know what I'm saying? The pay-per-view buys. But I guess it's a culture thing. I don't know. I
Dance
mean, Two
partner.
Tone, you the one
Dance
saying it.
partner. Dance partner era.
Right.
Dance partner.
You could say that, but I'm telling you, a lot of people already know the outcome of Canelo Crawford. If anything, that's just charity work. That's a handout. Crawford is a charity case at this point. He's looking for a cash out, an old man trying to retire, looking for a big payday. It is
That's
what
the
it is.
time,
Give David.
champ. That's the time. Tip. We on drive-by mode. You getting a minute.
Yo, first of all, I
Yo.
want to thank Al Heyman and the PBC for giving me this call. What's Turkey saying? What's Turkey saying, man? He got 200 for Crawford?
He's saying if
Or
anybody could
Benavidez?
pay it, he's saying if anybody could pay it, is him. Is
Yeah,
Riyadh season.
he ain't talking about David and Canelo then. He talking about Crawford. Man, anyway, man, I'm gonna skip all past that. Shout out to all the fighters out there chasing greatness, man. Fighters like Shakur Stevenson, you know what I'm saying, stepping up to the table, fighting a Joe Cordina moving up from 130, man. Nasty work, man. For all that, he could have fought Tevin Farmer, like I said, man. But you gonna sit here and you gonna fight Joe Cordina? That's nasty, man. After a knockout loss, bro, the man could be fighting Tank right now, bro. He did all that talk about fighting Tank and he not fighting Tank, man. He just prolonging his ass whooping, bro. That's basically what Shakur is doing right now. So you know what I'm saying? When that match get made, bro, just expect a brutal knockout in devastating fashion from Javante Tank Davis out of Baltimore, Maryland, man. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to shout out the whole Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jake Paul, real Midwest Mafia. You know what I'm saying? We salute you. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all the real Midwest riders. We outside. You know what I'm saying? Not these dudes claiming Jared Anderson. You know, and shout out to all my real UK guys, man. He could have fought, bro. He could have fought Gary Cully, man. Gary Cully is a better fight than Joe Cordina, bro. But he want, man. I'm done, man. I'm off, man. Shout out to the whole Midwest, man. Shout out to the PBC and Al Heyman. I'm out, man.
Poe Edwin De Los Santos. Lord child. Stay busy with Edwin.
We got Cliff, you send another counter. Joker, you got a counter, but I gotta go, fellas. I got an important meeting. Hopefully, it's another studio we could rock out here in Vegas, and I don't want to be late. So, Cliff, your counter, you paid, so you got it.
Yeah, it's gonna be quick. It's for the smoke. Hey, yo, shout out to my boy who just called Two Tone fat. Talking about on. Hey, yo, shout out to the dude who said Devin is scared to approach him, but he gonna approach somebody at the counter, bro. Shout outs to that guy. Shout outs to the dude who said that he'll get smoked with a baby or a female, but he didn't want to go to border wars. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to the dude who said I was overweight. You see me on my Instagram looking crazy. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to the fakest caller that calls into the show. Shout out to the dude who got questionable footage, and all he had to do was upload some new footage that showed he is who he really is. But he didn't do it. How easy would that have been? Shout out to the fakest caller in TBV. Now we got to question everything. Is this dude really... Did he really do what he said he did? Did he really do what he did with his brother? Did he really do what he did when he was in the being locked up? Like, what's really good with that dude? He's a really fake dude. He's the fakest caller on the show. So I just had to expose him because half the shit he say is crazy. like Devin Haney see him and is so intimidated by the dude that he won't even he won't say nothing to him. But a stranger at the carnival, he gonna run down on. But you so intimidating, Devin scared of you. Yo, this is the fakest caller on the show. And that's why CYP come talking about like what 200 pounds, whatever, but you could hit children, you could hit women, but CYP is too light for you. Man, that's the most phoniest caller we got. I'm out.
Yo, on that note, Nest GTO, Instagram and Twitter. You know, we right back at it tomorrow morning. Real quick, though, never leave a man behind. Cruz, $2. Crawford versus Canelo would be for fighter of the era. Adrian, $2. Canelo controls the chessboard. Mexico flag. Julio Guzman, $2 more. 1.8 million followers only equals 180,000 pay-per-view buys. Thinking emoji. Jaquan Grease, $2. Hackett vs. Schofield, bigger news. Laughing out loud twice. Have boxing member for 3 months. The prospect. You have yoga ball bouncer in step challenge. I'm telling you, bro. Next time, I'm not going to do it. You know why? Because we did it unlimited steps. So those world-class trainers, walkers are going to want to get in. But if we limit our step count to something more realistic, they probably would stay out. They definitely taken over with all their fucking Olympic-style walking and gold medals and extra stuff. But, hey, have boxing. No, we read that. Nest GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Peace.